Welcome back to the next video. I think we're up at number 7 now. This is the doily card, and once again, most of these projects were created not to make pretty cards for you, but to make cards where you could show off specific Stampin' Up! Product. So this one, this video will be both a product review and the construction of the card. This is a review of the square doilies and the new brass foil and the new glimmer paper. So one thing I did for my book was I created this little thing that lets you compare all the different foils, and I put silver. I kind of put them ones next to each other that I thought would be easily confused. So I put the silver and the champagne next to each other. The silver is much more white. The champagne has much more of almost a real subtle pink or rose tint to it. The copper is the reddest of the three down here. The brass is much darker than the gold is. So seeing them laid out like that is a nice visual for somebody who's trying to decide if they want to buy one color or another color. These square doilies, they are a lot of fun. They come 24 in a pack, which is nice because you could do a whole class on those things. And of course, on the card that we're going to make today, I have them set at an angle like that, but they could also set this way. They could be layered one on top each other for sort of a snowflake effect. And you could turn them over to the other side and you could color them, because these are vellum, just like the vellum that we used on the dandelion card if you're doing these things in order. I do notice on a couple of these that they didn't punch out all the holes either, so you might have to go through and punch out some places where the machinery didn't quite pop out the little pieces. And then because this is vellum, you will of course have the issue of putting adhesive on here and because of the holes in it, finding a way to put adhesive on here where it's not going to show through. All right, did you guys get the glimmer paper? Give me a smiles or a thumbs up or something if you got this glimmer paper, because I looked at that in the catalog, and the catalog does not do it justice. I was thinking to myself, why do I need a bunch of glimmer paper that's colored from side to side? And oh my gosh, weight-wise, let me get this one out of here, just so I have it in my hand while I'm talking to you. It's got a beautiful weight to it. I don't know if that's the right word. It's got a scrumptious, luscious, solid feeling weight to it. It just feels sturdy and substantial. And this glimmer is not coming off. I mean, there's no flecks on my hands at all. So it's a good quality paper. And then when I looked at it, it's like, okay, there's so many things you can do here. You could imagine sunset patterns, or take those dies from the rooted set, the tree dies, and layer them over here, and now cut that out, and suddenly you've got some fall colored trees. You can do watery scenes with down here. You can do balloons. There's just, I can think of a ton of different things that we can do with this stuff. So this is the sample that you're going to make, so that you have a sample of the glimmer paper. And once again, I used one sheet and cut it up between people, so you may have the yellows to what is that, raspberry? The yellows to the pinks ombre effect, or you may have one that's more of the green to the purple effect, depending upon which one you had. And at the end, I had made 28 of every sample, and had just enough left at the end to have these two little skinny strips left over for 2 cards. And I thought, okay, I'll just keep those 2 for me. I'm number 27, number 28 was the extra one, and then this was my sample that I made ahead of time to make sure everything worked. Guys, this is going to go together super easy. You're just going to glue things, and you're going to do the same thing with these 2 that we did on a previous one. And if you're bouncing around and doing them out of order, I will repeat what you've already probably heard me say, but I always show my customers how they can take one punch and turn it into something that can be layering itself. I should stamp a sentiment on here before I begin. But other than that, the visual that you see is just, that's how it is. Just glue everything together. And then I always show my customers that you can come back with the blends, the alcohol markers, and color rhinestones. So you will need 2 rhinestones of your own, and then whatever coordinating color of blend you have that goes with the color of paper that you had. I think for this one that I'm just going to go with that Happy Birthday from the Peaceful Moments set, which is becoming one of my favorite sets. Do you do things this way too? I always keep the base piece that all of the stamps came out of, because that way if I try and close it up and I see there's a hole, then I know I've got a stamp missing. That's another tip that I like to pass on to my customers. Now my piece is smaller than yours because that's all I had left at the end, but I'll just make mine with a skinnier piece and yours will have a bigger piece. When you do events for customers and you cost out all the materials, do you also add in the cost of the adhesive that you used when you were making your samples? Now for this, let's see, it looks like I got a couple of holes to punch out. Okay, it's going to be hidden behind here, so I can come back and just put some adhesive right on that. It's not going to show behind my tag. And then for added adhesion, it's going to be held on because there's holes in here. And it's trying to stick to the glimmer paper, and it's hard to stick things to glimmer paper, but when I put on my dimensionals, those dimensionals are going to squish down in between the holes in the vellum, and they'll just help to hold things together. But I am going to use 3 on here just because these dimensionals are doing double duty. They're not just holding the tag on, but they're also helping to hold that doily onto the glimmer paper. Let's see, I think I'm going to go with Granny Apple Green on this one. Boy, after some of those where I made you poke out all the holes, you're glad to get an easy one like this. Once again, this is your sample of the doilies and the glimmer paper. If you bought the glimmer paper and made any projects with it, we would love to hear your experience and to see photographs of what you made. If you've made things with the doilies, again, would love to see some pictures of some of the projects that you've made. So thanks for watching this one, and we'll catch you on the next one.